is responsible for the acquisition, deployment, and granting of incentives to its stakeholders. This shall ensure the efficiency and safety of all Philippine-registered vessels. On matters concerning seafarers, the agency ensures that Filipino seafarers are well-educated, well-trained, and well-equipped to develop them into a globally competitive seafaring workforce. Marina's trust on good governance aims to enhance internal systems and capabilities to further improve its services to their valued stakeholders. Notable among Marina's efforts is the formulation of the Maritime Industry Development Plan, or the MIDP. The MIDP is a comprehensive long-term plan that seeks to promote a nationally integrated and globally competitive maritime industry. It is divided into 8 priority programs covering the upgrading of shipping services in support of the nautical highway development, development of shipping services for maritime tourism, ensures that Filipino seafarers are well-educated, well-trained, and well-equipped to develop them into a globally competitive seafaring workforce. Marina's trust on good governance aims to enhance internal systems and capabilities to further improve its services to their valued stakeholders. Notable among Marina's efforts is the formulation of the Maritime Industry Development Plan, or the MIDP. The MIDP is a comprehensive long-term plan that seeks to promote a nationally integrated and globally competitive maritime industry. It is divided into 8 priority programs covering the upgrading of shipping services in support of the nautical highway development, development of shipping services for maritime tourism, development of coastal and inland waterways transport system, strengthening of safety standards of Philippine-registered fishing vessels, development of a global maritime hub, enhancement of maritime safety, modernization of maritime security in the Philippines, and the establishment of a maritime innovation and knowledge center. With Marina's commitment to its mandate tied with a continuous support and cooperation of its stakeholders, the Philippines is set to become a strong and dynamic maritime nation.
Sa lahat ng aking lakbayin, sa karagatan at mga baybayin, alam kong ika'y kaagapay. Sa tuwin ay maaasahan, mararating ang mga pangarap. Matatagpuan ang pag-unlad, buong bayan ay sumusulong dahil sa dulot mong tulong. Marina, Marina, ikaw ay laging kasama. Sa pag-unlad ng bayan ay bahagi ka. At dahil sa iyo ay matatamo ng bayang ito ang pagbabago sa bawat baybayin at karagatan. Dahil sa iyo, Marina, Marina. Pulo-pulo man ang Luzon, Visayas, magkalayo pati ang Mindanao. Ngunit dahil sa iyo, Marina, nagbubuklod ang buong bansa. Mararating ang mga pangarap, matatagpuan ang pag-unlad, buong bayan ay sumusulong dahil sa dulot mong tulong. Marina, Marina, ikaw ay laging kasama. Sa pag-unlad ng bayan ay bahagi ka. At dahil sa iyo ay matatamo ng bayang ito ang pagbabago sa bawat baybayin at karagatan. Dahil sa iyo, Marina, Marina, ikaw ay laging kasama. kasama sa pag-unlad ng bayan ay bahagi ka. At dahil sa'yo ay matatamo ng bayang ito ang pagbabago sa bawat baybayin at karagatan. Dahil sa'yo, Marina, Marina.
Or the MARINA was created pursuant to Presidential Decree number 474, mandated to accelerate the integrated development of the Philippine maritime industry. To achieve this, the agency must first develop and adopt a Maritime Industry Development Plan, then establish a favorable climate for the expansion of investments in the maritime industry, and provide effective supervision, regulation, and rationalization of the operations of all water transport utilities and other maritime enterprises in the country. The MARINA works on the advancement of the Philippine maritime industry, particularly focusing on ships, seafarers, and good governance. For ships, MARINA is responsible for the acquisition, deployment, and granting of incentives to its stakeholders. This shall ensure the efficiency and safety of all Philippine-registered vessels. On matters concerning seafarers, the agency ensures that Filipino seafarers are well-educated, well-trained, and well-equipped to develop them into a globally competitive seafaring workforce. MARINA's trust on good governance aims to enhance internal systems and capabilities to further improve its services to their valued stakeholders. Notable among MARINA's efforts is the formulation of the Maritime Industry Development Plan, or the MIDP. The MIDP is a comprehensive long-term plan that seeks to promote a nationally integrated and globally competitive maritime industry. It is divided into 8 priority programs covering the upgrading of shipping services in support of the nautical highway development, development of shipping services for maritime tourism, development of coastal and inland waterways transport system, strengthening of safety standards of Philippine-registered fishing vessels, development of a global maritime hub, enhancement of maritime safety, modernization of maritime security in the Philippines, and the establishment of a maritime innovation and knowledge center. With MARINA's commitment to its mandate tied with a continuous support and cooperation of its stakeholders, the Philippines is set to become a strong and dynamic maritime nation.
Sa lahat ng aking lakbayin, sa karagatan at mga baybayin, alam kong ika'y kaagapay, sa tuwin ay maaasahan. Mararating ang mga pangarap, matatagpuan ang pag-unlad, buong bayan ay sumusulong dahil sa dulot mong tulong. Marina, Marina, ikaw ay laging kasama, sa pag-unlad ng bayan ay bahagi ka. At dahil sa'yo ay matatamo ng bayang ito ang pagbabago sa bawat baybayin at karagatan. Dahil sa'yo, Marina, Marina. Hulog mo man yung Luzon, Visayas, Kalingap ang Mindanao, ngunit dahil sa'yo, Marina, nabubuklod ang buong bansa. Mararating ang mga pangarap, matatagpuan ang pag-unlad. Buong bayan ay sumusulong dahil sa dulot mong tulong. Marina, Marina, ikaw ay laging kasama. Sa pag-unlad ng bayan ay bahagi ka. At dahil sa'yo ay matatamo ng bayang ito ang pagbabago sa bawat baybayin at karagatan. Dahil sa'yo, Marina, Marina, ikaw ay laging kasama. Sa pag-unlad ng bayan ay bahagi ka. At dahil sa'yo ay matatamo na bayang ito ang pagbabago sa bawat baybayin at karagatan. Dahil sa'yo, Marina, Marina.
The Maritime Industry Authority, or the MARINA, was created pursuant to Presidential Decree Number 474, mandated to accelerate the integrated development of the Philippine maritime industry. To achieve this, the agency must first develop and adopt a Maritime Industry Development Plan, then establish a favorable climate for the expansion of investments in the maritime industry, and provide effective supervision, regulation, and rationalization of the operations of all water transport utilities and other maritime enterprises in the country. The MARINA works on the advancement of the Philippine maritime industry, particularly focusing on ships, seafarers, and good governance. For ships, MARINA is responsible for the acquisition, deployment, and granting of incentives to its stakeholders. This shall ensure the efficiency and safety of all Philippine-registered vessels. On matters concerning seafarers, the agency ensures that Filipino seafarers are well-educated, well-trained, and well-equipped to develop them into a globally competitive seafaring workforce. MARINA's trust on good governance aims to enhance internal systems and capabilities to further improve its services to their valued stakeholders. Notable among MARINA's efforts is the formulation of the Maritime Industry Development Plan, or the MIDP. The MIDP is a comprehensive long-term plan that seeks to promote a nationally integrated and globally competitive maritime industry. It is divided into 8 priority programs covering the upgrading of shipping services in support of the nautical highway development, development of shipping services for maritime tourism, development of coastal and inland waterways transport system, strengthening of safety standards of Philippine registered fishing vessels, development of a global maritime hub, enhancement of maritime safety, modernization of maritime security in the Philippines, and the establishment of a maritime innovation and knowledge center. With MARINA's commitment to its mandate tied with a continuous support and cooperation of its stakeholders, the Philippines is set to become a strong and dynamic maritime nation.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We just have to wait for some of our media friends. They are entering. They have messaged me that it's taking them a little time to enter into the room. So we just give them like 3 to 5 minutes. Then we're going to formally start our virtual forum with the media by our administrator. So stay put.
Morning, Louie.
Hi, good morning. So uh, we just wait for the others, some of our friends. But I'm seeing here our friends from, I think we have here the Philippine Information Agency from Batangas. Thank you, Ma'am Baby. We are also seeing here Philippine Information Agency in Region 2. And we are seeing here journalists from outside Metro Manila. But of course, we have here the Manila Times, Seaway, Business World.
Harbor School.
Harbor Scope is also here. So, and of course, uh, Tribune is also here, and we are very, very glad to welcome you, of course, in our virtual forum. And we want our information dissemination inclusive and nationwide, because we would like to take advantage, of course, of the present technology. This is one among the benefits probably that the pandemic has allowed us to learn. So we just wait for some of our friends, and we're going to invite our administrator in few minutes. So stay put. So team, can you have a run again of our collaterals? Then after that, we're going to start our briefing. We have here Region 2. I think Mr. Mark is based in Tuguegarao. Then after this run, then we're going to invite now our administrator so we can formally start our briefing. Elise, can you play the collaterals one more round?
The Maritime Industry Authority, or the MARINA, was created pursuant to Presidential Decree Number 474, mandated to accelerate the integrated development of the Philippine maritime industry. To achieve this, the agency must first develop and adopt a Maritime Industry Development Plan, then establish a favorable climate for the expansion of investments in the maritime industry, and provide effective supervision, regulation, and rationalization of the operations of all water transport utilities and other maritime enterprises in the country. The MARINA works on the advancement of the Philippine maritime industry, particularly focusing on ships, seafarers, and good governance. For ships, MARINA is responsible for the acquisition, deployment, and granting of incentives to its stakeholders. This shall ensure the efficiency and safety of all Philippine-registered vessels. On matters concerning seafarers, the agency ensures that Filipino seafarers are well-educated, well-trained, and well-equipped to develop them into a globally competitive seafaring workforce. MARINA's trust on good governance aims to enhance internal systems and capabilities to further improve its services to their valued stakeholders. Notable among MARINA's efforts is the formulation of the Maritime Industry Development Plan, or the MIDP. The MIDP is a comprehensive long-term plan that seeks to promote a nationally integrated and globally competitive maritime industry. It is divided into 8 priority programs covering the upgrading of shipping services in support of the nautical highway development, development of shipping services for maritime tourism, development of coastal and inland waterways transport system, strengthening of safety standards of Philippine-registered fishing vessels, development of a global maritime hub, enhancement of maritime safety, modernization of maritime security in the Philippines, and the establishment of a maritime innovation and knowledge center. With MARINA's commitment to its mandate tied with the continuous support and cooperation of its stakeholders, the Philippines is set to become a strong and dynamic maritime nation.
sa tuwin ay maaasahan, mararating ang mga pangarap, matatagpuan ang pag-unlad, buong bayan ay sumusulong dahil sa dulot mong tulong. Marina, Marina, ikaw ay laging kasama, sa pag-unlad ng bayan ay bahagi ka. At dahil sa iyo ay matatamo ng bayang ito ang pagbabago sa bawat baybayin at karagatan. Dahil sa iyo, Marina, Marina. Pulo-pulo man ang Luzon, Visayas, magkalayo pati ang Mindanao, ngunit dahil sa iyo, Marina, nagbubuklod ang buong bansa. Mararating ang mga pangarap, matatagpuan ang pag-unlad, buong bayan ay sumusulong dahil sa dulot mong tulong. Marina, Marina, ikaw ay laging kasama, sa pag-unlad ng bayan ay bahagi ka. At dahil sa iyo ay matatamo ng bayang ito ang pagbabago sa bawat baybayin at karagatan. Dahil sa iyo, Marina, Marina, ikaw ay laging kasama, sa pag-unlad ng bayan ay bahagi ka. At dahil sa iyo ay matatamo ng bayang ito ang pagbabago sa bawat baybayin at karagatan. Dahil sa iyo, Marina, Marina.
Okay, so we are now going to start our virtual briefing with the media. So before we're going to invite our administrator, we would like to acknowledge the presence, of course, of our media representatives from Region 2. As of writing, we have representatives from Filipino Mirror, of course, Ms. Irene Gonzalez, Remate, we have June Fuentes, DWPE, Radio Pilipinas, Vivian de Guzman, Clearview Cable, and GMA Stringer, Mr. Cayetano Tudao. And of course, would also like to acknowledge the presence of our friends from Batangas. We have from the Philippine Information Agency. So magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. So welcome to this virtual forum by the Maritime Industry Authority, led by our Administrator Vice Admiral Robert A. Empedrad. So to formally start our activity, may we invite our Regional Director in Cagayan de Oro City, Director Lisa Orongan, for an opening prayer, please.
Thank you, Louie. Before saying our prayer, let us hear God through his words in 2 Chronicles 7:14. It says here, "If my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land." Let us all bow down. Great and awesome God, our loving Father, the creator of heaven and earth, thank you for the privilege of calling you Abba Father, anytime, anywhere, and whatever the situation is. Forgive us of our trespasses and accept our prayers today. Thank you for drawing us to come before you, before your presence, through this virtual forum with the media by the Maritime Industry Authority. Thank you that despite this pandemic, we can still come together virtually to discuss and inform matters that affects all of us. Use us, Lord, and enable us to be a good steward of the seas that you have created and all the industries that depends on it, as many lives also depends on it. We are praying for your guidance and wisdom today. It's never an accident that we are all where we are right now. Thank you for the presence of our media partners who play vital roles in our lives. Use them as your voices for the maritime industry and among others. We all play our different roles. May we play ours the way you intend it to be, and that is to give you honor and glory. Bless Marina through the leadership of our Administrator, Vice Admiral Robert Empedrad. Use him and all of us to bless the maritime industry, among others. All this we ask and pray in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Before we're going to formally bring on board our officials, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Attorney Brenda Pimentel. Of course, she used to be our director here at the Maritime Industry Authority, and she's now actively engaged with the movement for Maritime Philippines. And we would like to inform that we want this virtual forum informal, such that everyone can ask or have that opportunity to raise questions to our officials, whom I will be introducing later. We'll be having some sort of presentations. Then would like to request that after the presentation, that's the time that we are going to have the question and answer. We also would like to inform everybody that we are on live on our official Facebook page of the Maritime Industry Authority. We have also invited our seafarers to jot down their questions, and we have requested them to inform us who among our officials will be responding to their questions. So as we start, I would like to recognize or would like to invite our officials, and of course, pag-usapan po natin sila just to say a few words para at least mag-appear yung mga faces din naman po nila dito sa screen natin. And of course, starting from our Administrator of the Maritime Industry Authority, Vice Admiral Robert Empedrad, sir.
Good morning to everyone, friends from the media and from the other maritime stakeholders. We hope we'll have a very productive forum this morning. Thank you very much.
May we also recognize our Deputy Administrator for Operations, Engineer Nanette Dinopol, as he's in Cebu right now. Ma'am Net, please.
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat, to our dear friends from the media and our stakeholders as well, and our Marina officials and personnel. Again, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat.
We also have here the officer in charge of the Office of the Deputy Administrator for Planning, and at the same time, the Director of the Planning and Policy Service, Sir Dong Lingad, please.
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat at sa ating mga kaibigan sa media, sa mga officials ng Marina at sa mga stakeholders na rin po natin. Magandang umaga po.
We also have with us Captain Jeffrey Solon, sir, please.
Good morning po sa lahat. Thank you for inviting me here.
And we also have here our director of the franchising service. So we have Attorney Max Banyares, please.
Magandang umaga po sa ating mga partners and stakeholders at sa ating pong mga officials of the Maritime Industry Authority. Good morning po.
Of course, we have with us our director of the Overseas Shipping Service. I'm sorry. The officer in charge of the STCW Office of the Deputy Executive Director, Attorney Jean Verpia. Attorney Jean.
Yes, good morning, Administrator, and to everyone here. Congratulations to Louis for this first activity after you assumed as OIC of the PADMO. And also our thanks to all who participated, our friends from the media. Magandang umaga po.
And we also have here the officer in charge of the Overseas Shipping Service.
Good morning po sa lahat. Good morning to the management. Good morning din po sa aming mga kaibigan sa media at sa ating po mga stakeholders.
And we also have here Vice Admiral Rene Medina, sir.
Good morning to everybody, and thank you, Louis and the administrator, for inviting me here. Thank you.
And of course, our Regional Director of Marina Regional Office in Cagayan de Oro. Ma'am Lisa, please.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Louis. Good morning po sa lahat.
Yung Marina Administrator.
Okay, so that's Director Lisa Orongan of our regional office in Cagayan de Oro City. So the flow of the program will be, we're going to have first a presentation on the 10 priority program of the Maritime Industry Authority for this year. And it will be followed by a presentation on MARINA Responses to the COVID-19 pandemic. Then we're also going to have a presentation on the updates on the 10-year Maritime Industry Development Program. Then after that, we are going to open question and answer, and the media will be invited to raise or ask questions relating to crew change, our LSIs, the efforts that the Marina has undertaken. And the first presentation definitely will be coming from our administrator, and our administrator has assumed his role as the his role in Marina at the time when the country is having pandemic. So he has been operating virtually, basically in most of his offices, but he is a leader who really means results. So ladies and gentlemen, without much ado, and our administrator doesn't want to have a very, very long introduction about him, because he wants the industry to know what he can deliver to the Philippine government, to this administration, and to the maritime industry as a whole. So ladies and gentlemen, may we invite our administrator for his 10-point priority program for the Maritime Industry Authority and to the maritime industry for these remaining months of the year. Elise, can you flash the presentation? Ladies and gentlemen, it's our privilege to welcome our Administrator Vice Admiral Robert Empedrad, sir.
Thank you very much, Louis. First of all, my gratitude and thanks for Louis for organizing this first Maritime Forum. Thank you for our friends from the media and from the various maritime stakeholders. I hope that this will be a very productive virtual meeting for all of us. But first of all, I'd like to thank Lisa for the passage in the Bible in First Chronicle that she mentioned a while ago. But before I proceed, I'd like to share another passage from the Bible. So this will be our way of doing things. In Proverbs 15:22, 15:22, it says that plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. So Proverbs 15:22. When I assumed as the Marina Administrator in March 16, the day the President declared the entire zone in ECQ, I gave some of my guidance, and one is it will be a collaborative administration with all the maritime stakeholders, kasi hindi kayang gawin ng Marina yung mandate niya if we don't have the support of the maritime stakeholders. So that will be our guidance as we move forward. It will be partnership, it will be collaboration, cooperation. And secondly, the media has been of great help to the administration for the past 6 months. Your insightful questions, in fact, is the one that we use in coming up with some innovations in the things that we do. And I hope that our forum this morning will be very productive for all of us. I'd like to present to you my 10-point agenda, which I laid down as I move forward with my term. Based on the President, my appointment paper, I will be performing as Marina Administrator until July 11 of 2022. So almost 2 years until the end of my term. So I laid down this 10-point agenda. The first one is to strengthen the Marina organization for efficiency. Of course, underscoring to strengthen, we will plan to strengthen the maritime regional offices and capacitate its people, especially now that we are in a new normal. Hindi pwede na pag meron kaming gagawin from the central office, we have to go to the various regional office to discharge our function. Hindi na ganun dapat. Instead, the MRO should be able to perform the role of the central office para maiwasan yung biyahe because travel are restricted. So strengthening our MRO will make Marina very efficient. Kasi kung minsan may mga request ang aming stakeholders na sa central office, then we need to go to the MRO. Hindi na ganun. Kung meron kayong concerns with Marina, you should raise your concerns to the different MRO of Marina. Secondly, the second one is to ensure that or capacitate the personnel of Marina and enhance their morale and welfare. As always said, nung ako naging FOIC ng Philippine Navy, I always take care of the morale and welfare of our personnel. So that would be my guidance also. Yes, our personnel have good credentials. Some of them are attorneys. Some of them has masteral and doctorate degrees. Some are engineers. They have the credentials, but they need to be trained. So this year nga, 4 ng personnel ng Marina will be going abroad for training. 3 will be going to WMU for their masteral courses. So we will continue to capacitate our personnel and look into the morale and welfare as well. Some of our personnel are mababa yung kanilang sweldo, and the availability of plantilla positions and the availability of a progressive career is very limited in Marina, and that we will going to look into that. Number 3, ensure strict compliance with standard health protocols in our battle against COVID-19. We are doing that. In spite of the fact that many of our personnel are in the front lines in the various regional offices, There are 41 reported personnel of Marina na naging positive sa COVID-19, but 33 has recovered. Sa ngayon, 8 na lang yung aming COVID positive patient. And we came up with strict guidance on how to prevent the COVID sa personnel namin. Like our personnel should not be conversing with each other when they are in the office if it's not important, and yung maglagay sila ng mask and surgical mask. So these are the measures strictly. Kaya ngayon, 8 na lang yung aming positive. At the same time, sila lahat ay asymptomatic. So we're doing a good fight against COVID-19. Number 4, act with urgency in addressing the findings of EMSA. I consider this a very urgent program of Marina, because if we will not act substantially on the issues of EMSA, we stand to lose some 50,000. If they withdraw their support to the seafarers, you expect some 50,000 seafarers who will be losing their jobs. And that we don't want that to happen. Kaya ngayon, talaga nagtatrabaho ang Marina to address the findings of EMSA. Of course, with the help and support of other maritime stakeholders. Number 5, establish systems and processes that will eradicate corruption within the organization. I'd like to emphasize that this is a specific instruction of the President to me and even our very own Senator Bongo. When I took my oath in Malacanang, and lagi niyang sinasabi na ayusin natin, bawasan natin ang corruption if we cannot eliminate corruption within the organization. And how do we do that? I think the best way to eradicate corruption is to speed up our systems and processes. If we can deliver our services to our stakeholders in a very short period of time, you eliminate the engagement or interaction between the stakeholders and the Marina employees. That will surely eradicate or eliminate corruption in the organization. Number 6, of course, sabi ko nga sa inyo, nasa new order na tayo, and the best way to respond to the new order is to use maximize the use of digitalization or automate all our system. Tulad ng mismo natin, we provide the renewal of licenses through online services. In fact, we are coming up with the online payment of when you renew your statutory certificates through online na yan. So ginagawa namin ng paraan na ma-execute yan in time. So maximize the automation of the things that we are doing. Number 7, pursue with vigor the 8 priority programs of the Maritime Industry Development Plan. You know this already. Marami tayong trabaho na gagawin dyan. And that's my plan. We will pursue this with vigor so that in the future we have a very progressive maritime industry. Number 8, elevate compliance to the STCW Convention and ensure the advancement and safety of our seafarers. We want that we are in compliance with the IMO, with the STCW Convention. And our number 1 priority, as always, is safety of not only of the seafarers, but even our domestic ships or in the maritime sector. Number 9, strengthen policies and procedures to ensure good governance. This is what we need, good governance. A good governance so as to get the support and the trust and confidence of our maritime stakeholders. What is happening now, when I assume as Marina, I observe that the maritime stakeholders do not trust Marina. And in some way, Marina also do not trust some of our stakeholders. But if you put good governance in place, then the respect and the trust and confidence for each other will grow. And then in number 10, prepare for the IMO member state audit scheme, IMSAS 2020-2022. Dapat 2021 ito, but because of the pandemic, it was moved to 2022. but this will not stop Marina to work very hard so that we will have the trust and confidence of the IMO because member state tayo dyan. At we make sure that when the IMSA's audit will be done in 2022, compliant tayo sa the standard that is being put in place by the International Maritime Organization. So these are the 10 agenda of my administration, and this is not just for Marina but also for the maritime stakeholders. Lagi kong sinasabi na kung wala ang tulong nyo, hindi namin maisusulong ito. But with your help, I'm sure that we'll be able to do our job well for the progress of our maritime industry. Thank you very much, Louis, and thank you for listening to my 10-point agenda.
Thank you very much, Administrator. May we now proceed to the next presentation, which is the MARINA response to the COVID-19 pandemic. So may we invite our Deputy Administrator for Operations, Engineer Nanette Dinopol. Ma'am Nanette, please.
Yes, thank you, Louis. To our administrator, Vice Admiral Robert Empedrad, to our friends in the media, our stakeholders, and of course the Marina officials and personnel who are on board this media briefing. Magandang umaga po sa inyo ulit. I'm tasked to present the Marina's various Marina's response to COVID-19 pandemic, which was declared last March this year. The continuing impact of COVID-19 pandemic on our lives and properties cannot be more than emphasized, as we still grapple with its new norms for us to do what we ought for the country's maritime industry. Definitely, our partners in the media, like everyone else, have not also been spared from the adversities and challenges due to this crisis. Nevertheless, the imposition of stringent quarantine guidelines has caused Marina to adopt the necessary measures in ensuring our continuous operation, especially the delivery of our services to our maritime stakeholders. Next slide, please. The first is the adoption of alternative work arrangements. Since mid-March, the Marina has adopted alternative working arrangements through work from home, reduced on-site skeletal workforce, or their combination as authorized under the civil service regulations, and without substantially disrupting processing of pending and new applications for both shipping and seafarers. This has also been implemented in our regional offices nationwide as may be warranted by circumstances in their areas of jurisdiction. In order to adequately inform our stakeholders on the implementing guidelines of this measure, the agency has issued advisories which cover modified procedures under the new normal in the submission and processing of shipping and seafarer-related applications through electronic documentation and issuances. Akin to our existing systems for seafarers, we target the launch of our overseas shipping service information and monitoring system. We call it OSIMS, and pilot testing of our integrated domestic shipping information system. We call it IDSIS before the year ends. They are envisioned to fully implement cashless transactions by our stakeholders in compliance or aligned also to the 10-point agenda of the administrator. At present, the overseas shipping service information monitoring system is ongoing. It's being pilot tested, and while for the domestic, it will be launched within the year. The pandemic also caused the suspension of examination of our seafarers, but we already resumed last month in the central office, Iloilo, Cebu, and Davao. While we have not personally convened as in entire agency since the assumption of our dear Administrator, Vice Admiral Robert Empedrad, we commit to continue delivering what is expected from us by the industry, from the issuance of necessary policies to the rendering of efficient services to our stakeholders. Next slide, please. Compliance with the guidelines of IATF EID on maritime transport. The Marina also directed the initial suspension of training courses for our seafarers in view of class suspensions to prevent further local transmission of coronavirus in March. Though upon compliance by maritime training institutions with the required post-ECQ plan, training may already be conducted through blended learning pursuant to Marina Advisory number 2020-59, which was already signed by the Administrator. Also part of ensuring compliance with IATF regulations, we issued guidelines on the resumption of operation of SBSR entities, this is the shipyards and ship repair facilities, and the domestic passenger and cargo ships. During the ECQ stage, there was a continued operation of cargo shipping service in which we also monitored nationwide so as not to hamper the movement of cargoes. Passenger capacity was reduced by 50%, including strict observance of social distancing and disinfection on board domestic vessels. The required data in a passenger manifest, which must now be a web-based document, were also adjusted to aid in contact tracing purposes. We also sought your assistance in further disseminating our recent policy Memorandum Circular DS 2020-01 that directs all domestic shipping lines to provide discounted cargo space to agricultural and food products. This is to ensure uninterrupted food production and delivery, especially during the pandemic. This specifically requires at least 12% cargo space allocation to agricultural and food products at a 40% discount from the published rate. The Marina Memorandum Circular was issued, approved by the board as pursuant to the DOTR Directive 2020-07. The next slide, please. Promotion of welfare of maritime stakeholders, especially for our Filipino seafarers. Our efforts during the pandemic also relate to further promoting the welfare of our stakeholders, especially our seafarers. Early in March, we coordinated with our concerned government and money agencies to assist locally stranded and displaced seafarers, in which our Administrator was very passionate, really, he directed and initiated efforts to really help assist our stranded seafarers in Luzon and those who are also displaced to go back to their respective hometown or provinces. To date, the Marinas also extended the validity of STCW certificates, which are due to expire from September 1 to December 31, 2020, for another 1 year. The validity of the SIRBs that are also due to expire from March 13 to December 31, 2020 has also been extended for another 1 year. This already applies to both seafarers who are on board and ashore. This effort really of the Administrator is to help those seafarers who will be to go on board the ships para makapagtrabaho na po kaagad sila. Expired statutory certificates on May 31, 2020 issued to the Philippine Registered Overseas ships were also made valid until November 30, 2020. As you might have here, we embarked on the establishment of the country's Green Lane, as mentioned by the administrator earlier, to facilitate the speedy and safe travels of seafarers, including their disembarkation and crew change during this pandemic through a joint circular with the DOJ, the DOLE, the DOTR, the DILG, the Department of Health, and other government agencies. To date, we have the Port of Manila, Port of Capimpin in Bataan, and the Subic Bay Free Port Zone as crew change hubs to aid distressed seafarers. Next slide, please. Continue stakeholders engagement. Last is our continuous engagements with our stakeholders to foster consultative discussions and meetings on pressing maritime concerns, mostly those directly related to the pandemic. This time, even during the pandemic, the pandemic does not prevent us really from seeing, hearing the concerns of our stakeholders. We can do it through this video conferencing and using the technology. The latest is the administrator's participation in the 39th ASEAN Maritime Transport Working Group as the Philippines head of delegation. Also this year, we managed to celebrate the Day of the Seafarer to honor seafarers as the key workers status, albeit virtually. And we also look forward to having your continued support as we celebrate the National Maritime Week this month of September, in which the Maritime Industry Authority will be the host agency. Next slide, please. Among the number of realizations that this pandemic has taught us is the imperative use of technology, especially online platforms, in reestablishing our connections for both personal and work-related reasons. This is what Marina is and will continue to take advantage of until we all completely see ourselves settled in the new normal. Corollary to this is the smooth flow of valuable information. Allow me to reiterate our appreciation to all of you, our partners from the media, in ensuring that all efforts by the Marina and the rest of the government are widely disseminated and felt by our stakeholders. This holds true to pressing concerns, including those affecting the livelihood of our seafarers and our maritime professionals and the maritime industry as a whole. Even as we later hurdle this crisis, may we all of us endeavor to look forward to a better Philippine maritime industry and live by the timeless values of empathy and compassion towards one another. Thank you. And again, good morning po sa lahat.
Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Net. Before we're going to invite our next resource person, gusto ko lang po basahin yung mga comment po ng ating mga viewers sa Facebook page ng Marina from Judith Francisco. May nakasulat po dito, thanks for highlighting good governance to increase mutual trust and confidence of all stakeholders to increase trust and confidence to Filipino seafarers and relevant stakeholders. Another one is coming from JRMSUSTO. I hope that our new Marina Administrator should look deeper into the local shipping industry so our seafarers can be protected from being exploited. So those are the two comments that we received from our official Facebook page. And of course, those who are here in the Zoom room, of course, you are reading also the comments from our participants, from our media friends. But for those who are watching our live feed from our Facebook page, I just would like to read the comment from Mr. Rodel Suarez. Sabi po niya, coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success. Thank you for this virtual meeting with the leadership of Vice Admiral Empedrad. What is the most most priority in this 10-point program and the response to this pandemic? Next, how do you support the domestic shipping, lalo na sa mga pagliit ng mananakay dito? So definitely our administrator will be responding to all these questions later as we proceed to the next presentation. The next to present is our officer in charge of the Office of the Deputy Administrator for Planning, and concurrently the Director of the Planning and Policy Service of the Maritime Industry Authority, to provide us the update of the 10-year Maritime Industry Development Program. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Mr. Dong Lingad. Sir Dong, please.
Thank you, Louie. At magandang umaga po ulit sa inyong lahat, lalong-lalo na po sa ating administrator, kay Vice Admiral Robert A. Empedrad, sa ating Deputy Administrator for Operations, kay Ma'am Net Dinopol, kay Admiral Medina, Captain Jeff Solon, our friends in the media and colleagues in the Marina. Ako po si Arsenio Lingad II at ngayon po ang Director po ng Planning and Policy Service. At I will be presenting to you the 10-year Maritime Industry Development Plan as our contribution to the present administration's socio-economic agenda. Next slide, please. Our MIDP has gone through a long journey, and this was based on PD 474, Ambition 2040, PD or the Philippine Development Plan of 2017 to 2022, RA 11032 or the Ease of Doing Business, and the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, otherwise called as SDG 2030. Next slide, please. Our MIDP has gone through a process, and this has been approved in principle by the NEDA Infrastructure Committee on August 5, 2019, after a series of meetings. For the information of everyone, the MIDP needs to go through this process until it is approved by the NEDA board, where the president sits as the NEDA board chairperson. As there has never been a maritime industry development plan formulated like this before, we are very honored to say that the approval of this MIDP forms part of the present administration's legacy to the maritime sector. We wish to emphasize that this is an industry plan. The Marina is but one of its implementing agencies. Although all of MIDP programs are led by Marina, the effective implementation of this plan depends on the collaboration amongst us, the government, and the private sector. Next slide, please. The MIDP has 8 priority programs, namely upgrading of domestic shipping in support of the nautical highway development, development of shipping services for maritime tourism, development of coastal and inland waterways transport system, strengthening of safety standards of Philippine registered fishing vessels, development of a global maritime hub, enhancement of maritime safety in the Philippines, modernization of maritime security in the Philippines, and establishment of Maritime Innovation and Knowledge Center. For Program 1, next slide, please. For Program 1, called Upgrading of Domestic Shipping and Support of the Nautical Highway Development, we have 5 components, which is shown in the next slide. These key components include the modernization or upgrading of vessels and provision of incentives and financing program, capacity building for deck and engine cadets, improvement and construction of ports, terminals, and road infrastructure, phasing out of wooden-hulled ships, and upgrading of local boat builders to replace wooden-hulled ships. For the next slides, we will show you the status that has been made so far. For Component 1, there has been an identification and declaration of RoRo missionary routes in accordance with Marina Advisory 2020-10, published February 21.
Sabi nga, ayun na pala eh.
Sorry. Also, there is an identification of sea routes, sea linkages targets in the next 30 years, 2020 to 2050 phase as follows. For phase 1, we have identified 26 routes. For phase 2, 26 routes. And for phase 3, 18 routes. There has also been a route rationalization project with application of the Maritime Route Rationalization and Information System, also known as the MARIS, and this is in connection with the DOST. Next slide, please. For component 2 on the phasing out of wooden hulled ships, there was an intensified awareness campaign on the institutional support mechanism of Marina Circular number 2016-02, the phasing out of wooden hulled ships carrying passengers, and this information campaign was done in Cebu and in Legazpi. For capacity building for deck and engine cadets, there is a Marina Circular 2020-04, revised rules and regulations for the issuance of domestic certificates of competency for officers and domestic certificate of proficiency for ratings. These two policies further strengthen the regulations that ensure the deployment of competent and certificated seafarers on board and employed in the domestic fleet. This project is also under program number 2 on the development of shipping services for maritime tourism. We'll go to that program in a little bit. Next slide, please. As the National Cruise Tourism Development Strategy and Action Plan of the Department of Tourism sets out strategic actions to promote the Philippines as a regional cruise center in Asia, Marina shall support this plan by developing shipping services for maritime tourism. There are 5 components under this program. Next slide, please. 1 is the creation of a maritime tourism committee. Second is the development of design and safety standards for recreational boats construction and operation. Third is the facilitating investments in maritime tourism. Fourth is development of capacity building program for recreational maritime tourism crew, personnel and boat building manpower. And fifth one is the promotion of maritime tourism. For component 4, development of capacity building for maritime tourism, Marina has issued Circular 2020-04 or the revised rules and regulations in the issuance of domestic certificates of competency for officers and domestic certificate of proficiency for ratings. Also, 2020-03 was issued on the revised rules and regulations in the conduct of assessment of competence to seafarers on board merchant ships below 500 GT or with engine propulsion power below 750 kilowatts in Philippine waters. For Program 3, Development of Coastal and Inland Waterways Transport, this aims to increase the efficiency, safety, and environmentally sustainable transport system in the country by enhancing navigability and quality of coastal and inland waterways and improving connectivity in the interlands. There are 7 components of this program, namely Coastal and Inland Waterways Development and Maintenance, Feasibility Study on the Development of the CIWT System, Ports, Landings, Terminals, Construction and Operation and Management, Boat Building, Operation and Management, CIWT Information System Establishment, Continuing Capacity Building, and the CIWT System Operations and Maintenance. What we have done so far here addresses component number 2, or the feasibility study on the development of CIWT system. This is being done in coordination with our mother agency, the DOTR, in the procurement of the consultancy under the terms of reference that we have been developing with the Department of Transportation. Also under component 6, continuing capacity building, we have issued Marina Circular 2020-03 on the revised rules and regulations, as I have mentioned before in Program 2, and Marina Circular 2020-04 revised rules and regulations in the issuance of the domestic COC. Next slide, please. For program number 4, this program aims to increase the efficiency and safety of all Philippine registered fishing vessels through improved operational safety standards and increased fishing crew competence. There are 6 components under this program, namely implementation, assessment, and review of the Philippine fishing vessel safety rules and regulations for commercial fishing vessels, development of safety rules and regulations for small fishing vessels, proposed ratification of Cape Town Agreement, development and promotion of safety design in fishing vessels, development and dissemination of user-friendly fishing safety guidelines as IEC materials, and development and updating of database of fishing vessels and crews. We have made progress so far on component 7 with the proposed ratification of the Cape Town Agreement and SDCWF, where we have a partial completion of the review and revalidation of the draft national interest analysis and a partial review and revalidation of the existing national interest analysis draft on the ratification of the Cape Town Agreement. Also, we have Marina Circular 2020-01, rules and regulation in the conduct of assessment and competence for personnel of fishing vessels in Philippine waters. Under Program 5, this program, next slide please. This program aims to develop the Philippines as a central point for accumulation and distribution of cargoes for worldwide trade, seafaring, and shipyard industry center. There are 5 components under this program, namely the promotion of the Philippine Flag Registry, the development of the Philippines as a transshipment and bunkering hub in Southeast Asian region, upgrading and expansion of local shipyards, establishment of the Eco-Industrial Maritime Park, establishment of a maritime training and research center. Under Component 1, promotion of the Philippine Flag Registry, we are glad to report that we have approved, there is already an approved Philippine Maritime Strategy that shall strengthen the maritime administration through the provision of the organizational structure of the departments and agencies performing relevant maritime administration functions, through which the Philippines ensures that roles and responsibilities are clearly defined, that adequate powers have been granted to each agencies for implementation and enforcement. There is also the approved Model Merchant Shipping Agreement, and there have been submission to IMO on the following commenting papers. There is also a revised campaign strategy for the Philippines' candidature for election to the IMO for 2022 to 2025, and Marina Circular rules and regulations on the construction of tank and installation of equipment to collect, store, and treat sewage from ships in compliance to Annex 4 of MARPOL 73 and 78. Under Component 3, upgrading and expanding local shipyards, we have Memorandum Circular 2020-01 on rules and regulations relating to registration and licensing of shipbreaking and ship recycling facilities and for other purposes, and Marina Circular 2020-03, rules on the constructions and certification of fiberglass reinforced plastic vessels. And there is also the establishment of a maritime training and research center where we have already developed program and courses development through a first draft of the IMO model course, program standards for first year level of BSMT and BSMARE, and training standards, which is subject for final review as to the following courses shown in our screen. Next slide, please. This is the continuing accomplishment under Program 5 for the programs and courses development. Under Program 6, this aims to develop and implement a comprehensive safety plan for all Philippine registered vessels that encompasses the fundamental elements of maritime safety. It has 6 components, as shown in the following slides. Review of policies and guidelines, ratifications of relevant maritime safety conventions, action strategy and action plan for domestic shipping, and information and education and communication plan. Next slide. Implement the training modules on maritime safety and marine environmental protection and standards, and establishment of operations of database and monitoring and evaluation system on maritime safety and marine environmental protection. There are 2 approved policies which can be categorized under the component 3, development, implementation, assessment, and review of policies and guidelines relating to maritime safety. First is the oversight functions in the delegation of MARINA Authority to the ROs. And second one is the revised rules and the accreditation of classification societies and entities for the purpose of classification of ships. So those MCs have been approved by our Marina Board. Under Program 7, this aims to develop and implement a comprehensive security plan for all Philippine registered vessels, ports, and shipyards to prevent occurrence of maritime incidents caused by criminality and terrorism. It has 6 components as shown in the screen: formulation of policies, information and education and communication, capacity building, operationalization of the Marina Operations Center, ratifications of the suppression of unlawful acts, and the administration of the LRIP. Under Program 8, we have this program aims to improve the capacity of Marina and relevant partners to innovate and operate modern technologies, as well as to apply best practices in maritime affairs. And it has 4 components: the development of knowledge products, the promotion of the Philippine maritime industry, strengthening of innovation, and program monitoring and evaluation. Under Component 1, we have commenced the enhancement of Marina Library services with digital online features. We have the design and development of the HCs. We have the municipal fishing vessel registration system, the document uploading and verification system, and the MISS verification system. Under Component 2, we have communication materials, video reports, and publication outputs already in our library. Ladies and gentlemen, the waypoints that we have so far traveled has not been easy, and the journey that we will go through will likewise be challenging. Amidst all of this, let us be mirrors of hope for the Filipino people we serve, for all the dreams we are planting, for all good things that we do for our country. May this gathering cultivate our interagency relationship that we have now and continue to nurture our endearing cooperation in the years to come. For the story that we write is not for us, but for the generation next to us to read. That in the end, we have done what we have set to do and accomplished for our people and for our country. Let us write the most interesting and inspiring story that we can author for them. That concludes my presentation. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Salamat po, Sir Dong. It's now time for us to proceed to the question and answer. So ang gagawin po natin para mas madali, dito po sa Zoom may raise your hand button. I-click lang po ninyo yung pangalan ninyo, tapos pindutin po ninyo yung raise hand. Pag medyo may struggle po tayo because we are using tablets or mobile phones, pwede rin po kayong mag-type dito sa chat box. Just write the media entity that you are representing. Then we will recognize you. Pero bago po ang lahat, kasi nasabi po natin sa ating mga seafarers na pipili tayo sa mga tanong nila na i-raise po nila sa ating mga opisyal. Because Marina is part of the interagency relating po sa crew change sa sinasabi. From Lowell Abraham po, ang sabi po niya dito, sana po lahat ng major ports gaya ng Davao, Batangas, open na po ang crew change nang mabigyang trabaho ang mga nakatenggang marino. Dapat sasampa sa mga biyahe na ito. Sana po huwag patagalin baka ang mga trabahong nakalaan para sa marinong Pilipino ay mapunta sa ibang lahi. Tapos may isa pong question po from Vina A. Figueroa. Crew change is a struggle due to pandemic. What is the rule and right of a seafarer when it comes to over-contract? Binabasa lang po natin tong mga tanong na mga to ng ating mga seafarers, and as we go through the process of our question and answer, may mga official din po tayo na sasagot later. And the first one to raise his hand is si RJ. RJ, you are recognized. Please, pakisabi lang po yung entity na pinanggalingan nyo. Then, at kung sino po sa ating mga resource persons ang gusto nyo pong sumagot sa inyong tanong. RJ, please.
I would like to address my question to Sir Empedrad. I'm RJ of Business World. Sir, my question is focused on the local shipbuilders. How are we helping them in the time of the pandemic?
Thank you very much for that question, sir. Shipbuilding and ship repair. First of all, we were able to ask the approval of the IATF to declare the employees of our shipbuilders as key personnel or authorized person outside residence, so that hindi maantala yung kanilang trabaho. And also we will be receiving some economic stimulus package from Congress. Kasama na dito yung domestic shipping and shipbuilding in a form of providing them loans so that they can beef up yung requirements nila in the shipbuilding. Mabigat yung impact ng pandemic sa ating shipbuilding because our employees, yung employees nila hindi nakapagtrabaho for quite some time. So there will be a delays in the completion of the projects at hand. But we are engaging, we are meeting with our shipbuilding, ship repair association, and we are working very hard with them. But sa ngayon, ang may tutulong po namin is to follow up yung economic stimulus package that is going to be given by our government, particularly Congress, to alleviate yung plight nila in the impact of the pandemic. I hope I was able to answer your question.
Sir, sir, how much is allocated for them under the stimulus package?
I think who can answer? Alam ko meron tayong I will check, but I think magkano yung amount na involved for we recommended to Congress. Marina came up with a figure for to help our shipbuilding, ship repair industry. Sino nakakaalam sa atin sa Marina? I think can we just answer it to you when we get the number, the amount later?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So the next is si Ms. Irene Gonzalez of Filipino Mirror. Yes, Irene, you are recognized.
Yes po, good morning po sa ating lahat. Thank you po sa binigyan yung pagkakataon na matanong po namin kayo. Sir, paano po tayo nakikipag-coordinate sa mga mananakay po natin para maiwasan po na maging crowded po sila sa mga terminal po ng mga maritime po?
I think the port will address that issue. But based on the Marina advisory, ang instruction po namin is avoid the spread of COVID. That's the most important focus right now. How do we prevent the spread of COVID in our transport, particularly maritime? So ang namin is we came up with advisory that only 50% of the capacity of the ship will be allowed to board ships, particularly sa passenger ships. So instead na 100 na yung pwedeng sumakay for a particular ship, 50 na lang yung pwede. So it requires social distancing. So dapat maliit. So I think kailangan din natin hingin yung tulong ng ating mga mamamayang Pilipino if kung wala naman silang nabili na ticket or reservation, they should not go to the pier kasi magiging crowded lang yan. And it's very hard to to control a crowded place and to avoid the spread of So dapat tulong-tulong ito. There should be discipline on the part of our passengers na huwag ka nang pumunta sa kung wala ka namang ticket. Because reduce na nga yung passengers ng ating mga maritime transport. I hope I did respond well to your question, June.
Miss Carmela Huelar of Manila Times, you're recognized, please. Miss Carmela. And kanino nyo gustong sumagot yung tanong nyo? Miss Carmela.
Si Administrator po. Good morning, everyone. Sir, it's not really a question, but it's some sort of a comment lang from a seafarer regarding po doon sa COP. Kung pwede daw po ang mga COP ng mga seafarers ay visa type sticker na lang to be appended dun sa seafarer record book. Sobrang dami kasing hinahawakan na documents ng mga seafarers. This came from a contact din sa may FB. Tanong lang po daw or a suggestion.
Thank you very much for that suggestion, Carmela. In fact, nag-usap na kami ng ating STCW. I had a meeting with them and we have planned to baguhin namin yung format ng ating COP in a very small form na kasi masyadong malalaking certificates eh. So we have plans in fact to i-revise namin yung mga certificates that you will receive na pwede mo nang ibulsa, ilagay mo just like a passport size maybe. But that's the intention of Marina. Very soon we'll be coming up with the revised certificates for all of our seafarers.
Okay po, I'll ask na lang later ulit. Thank you.
Okay, so we would like also to recognize Rafi of Tribune. Rafi, you're recognized, please.
Hi. Sorry. Sir, kay Administrator Empedrad po. Sir, have you heard, I hope you have heard 39 missing Filipino crew na nawawala sa East China Sea. So, sir, any information about that? And meron po ba kayong monitoring about the situation there? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are validating this report and it is true, it's very sad. Nakakalungkot na affected yung ating mga seafarers. But we will check on this. Wala pa kaming A1 information on this one. But we are coordinating and I hope we can help. If it's true, makakatulong tayo sa ating mga affected na seafarers natin, but we really don't have any information right now, RJ.
Okay, so thank you very much. We would like to recognize Vivian de Guzman. She's coming from Radyo Pilipinas, based in Tuguegarao City in Cagayan. Vivian, you're recognized, please.
Yes, good morning. Magandang umaga sa ating lahat. Good morning kay Apo kababayan, Vice Admiral Robert Empedrad, who is also from Cagayan. I just would like to ask what is the category in our area, and I'm speaking about the Cagayan Valley region in terms of creation of...
Nawala si Vivian. Vivian, we did not understand your question.
Hi, hello. Hi. So, okay. Yeah, hello. Okay na ho ba?
Wala kayo, Vivian.
Hello?
Yeah. Wala. Okay, you're good now.
Vivian, please.
Louie, nawawala siya. Siguro
okay.
Go to the next question.
Balikan.
Gusto ko na malaman
Vivian, medyo choppy ka, and if you can just write your question dito po sa chat box, so we can have our administrator respond to your question. So we have in line si Attorney Brenda Pimentel, then the next will be si Miss Lynn Bacani, and after that will be Miss Zenny. Ma'am Brenda, please. At kanino niyo po gusto i-address yung tanong po ninyo?
Good morning, Louie and Administrator, and all the Marina Directorate. Sir, nagtataka ka, sir, ba't ako ito? Kami the Manila Times.
Right.
Actually, I started Maritime page in the Manila Times, and Chairman Emeritus Dante Ang, I had a banter with him. Sabi ko, isang problema ng Maritima is that the good things that Marina and PCG and PPA are doing are not talked about in the media. Yung mga masasama, yung lumabog na barko, yung mga fraudulent certificate, yung mga lumalabas. So I told him, magbukas ka ng Maritime page. And now, 4 years after, ito na ang Manila Times. Nasa day, broadsheet. Kasi ang mga nandun sa ating mga malalaking newspapers noon, mga imported na news. Ano ang nangyayari sa New York Port, ano nangyayari sa Hamburg, pero wala sa Philippines. So I hope, sir, you will also try to provide some news to the Manila Times. Pero ito po yung tanong ko, sir. Yun po sa inyong 10-point agenda. I really appreciate it. But yun item 5 on the eradication of corruption and that one of strengthening policies, ito ho talaga magkadugtong. Yeah. The functions that Marina exercises are mostly corruptible functions. Kaya ho sasakit ang ulo nyo dyan, I'm sure. But one of the things that we have seen is that regional offices or other directors or other offices in Marina would interpret regulations according, masyadong flexible ang interpretation ng mga regulations, probably because they're not really clear. So siguro if you have to look at items 5 and 9, maybe you can adapt what the UN 10 years ago adopted as a motto, delivering as one.
Yeah.
Isa lang ho ang interpretation, no chance for forum shopping, kasi kung hindi maibigay ang safety certificate sa isang region, pupunta sa kabila. So I hope that you can look into this, Administrator. Ito ho yung isang root cause ng corruption. And I really appreciate 10-point agenda. Marami pong salamat, sir.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Brenda. First, thank you for Manila Times for focusing on maritime. I always believe that we are a maritime nation. We are an archipelagic nation, and I always believe that the progress of our country depends largely on the maritime industry. So dapat ang focus natin sa maritime industry. And thank you, Manila Times, for helping us out on this one. Yes, you're right, ma'am. Yung execution of policy should be dapat para-parehas. So what we are doing in Marina, just like 2 days ago, the ship repair service of Marina under the leadership of Engineer Mon Hernandez had a 1.5 webinar with all the MROs. I think there were 3 policies or MCs that were approved by Marina. So nagkaroon sila ng webinar educating our various MROs. So MROs are involved here. So one day is allocated for one particular MCs. So how do we make sure na isa lang yung pag-iisip namin is to educate them. And I'm very happy that we did that 2 days ago. So every time na magkaroon tayo ng MC, we do webinar with all the MROs so that we make sure that yung interpretation into all the policies, aside from, di ba, pag policies, meron pang consultation with the stakeholders. So, alam nila yon. But as far as Marina personnel is concerned, we disseminate it to them through webinar. Imagine we spend one half day for a particular MC to be disseminated to them para isa lang yung interpretation. And you're right. We should be sure that we see a particular policy and we have one interpretation. So hindi lang sa amin, we hope we can also engage our maritime stakeholders, because corruption, it takes two to tango, hindi lang naman within but also from the outside. If we can also disseminate it to them, so we'll have a one interpretation. In that way, walang chance of corruption in a particular maritime circular, marina circular. But thank you very much, Brenda. You're always very helpful to the marina. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Brenda. We have Ma'am Zenny, then after that will be Miss Lynn. Pero sir, just would like to share some comments din po ng ating mga stakeholders. Actually, the suggestion for a visa type sticker is a witty suggestion, and our seafarers welcome that proposal. Then another one is, well, it's really a compliment. Mabuhay ka, Vice Admiral Empedrad, sa lahat ng Marina admin. Saludo ako sa iyo, sir, sa mga accomplishments and upcoming stay safe. That's a comment from our Facebook follower, and it's really a compliment with what Marina is doing for its road to transformation. So we now have, sir, si Ma'am Zenny, then after that si Ma'am Lynn, then next will be TJ Tudao. Yes, then you're recognized.
Good morning, Vice Admiral Empedrad. I'm Senny Magnat from Harbor Scope. Tanong ko lang po kung ano po yung latest natin sa EMSA ngayon. And then my second question also is, since Marina is the host agency now for the coming National Seafarers Day po, and ano po ba yung programs nyo and preparation for that event, sir?
Thank you, Senny. The EMSA report has not been published yet, so inintay namin yun. But exit briefing in March 12, siyempre merong sinasabi nila kung ano yung mga nakikita nila. So there is a perceived findings. That is the one that the Marina is addressing right now. One finding is luma na yung mga curriculum natin. We have to come up with a new curriculum. So yan yung ginagawa ng Marina. We were able to complete the curriculum of the first year for the BSM Marine Transportation and Engineering. Ang gagawin namin, ipapilot namin sa Philippine Merchant Marine Academy because it's a government school. And then we hope to be able to complete the curriculum for second year and third year. And then next year, i-implement namin to sa lahat ng MHEIs because this is the requirements. This is the result of the inspection of EMSA. So isa yun. And one finding of EMSA in general terms is Marina should improve the way they do monitoring and assessment of the various schools, training centers, and assessment centers. So ina-address po namin yan. Gumagawa po kami ng Marina Circular to strengthen our PSG. So kailangan maganda yung processes namin, policies, standards, and guidelines. So we created a task group to work on this kasi yan ang issue eh. Hindi daw maganda yung monitoring, mabagal, hindi efficient, so we will address just that. Doon sa mga comment nila that the MHEIs are not compliant with the standard of STCW Convention, ina-address din po namin to in cooperation with the technical panel for maritime education, and the shed and bank. Kasi syempre shed and bank is involved, is in charge with maritime, with higher education. So ang gagawin namin is we come up with good governance and tell them to comply with the standards of the STCW. Kasi ito, kung hindi natin itaas yung standard ng education natin, again, we will lose the trust and confidence of our EMSA, and then it will result in the withdrawal of our seafarers certificates. Hindi na sila kukuha ng Pilipino. We don't want that to happen. So these are the things that we are doing right now. Once the EMSA will publish the result of the inspection, gusto namin ipakita sa inyo yan. We will be very transparent. I know that we have not been publishing the result of EMSA to our stakeholders and the media, but this time, pag nakita namin yung result, we will share it to you. We will also share to you what has been done by Marina. So transparent tayo ang ano natin para we will trust each other. And probably you can help us in how we can address the concerns of EMSA.
Thank you, Tita Zen. Thank you, Sir Administrator. So after Miss Lynn Bacani, we will have the last 4 or 5 questions. So sabihin ko na po dito yung isa sa mga tanong, sir, you may wish to respond. Ang tanong is coming from Vivian de Guzman of Radio Pilipinas Tugigaraw. Ang tanong po, I think it's addressed to you, sir. What is the category of the Cagayan Valley region in terms of the routes or sea linkages created, considering that we also need a sea transport? Hindi po namin nararamdaman ang industriyang ito sa aming lugar. Ano po ang dahilan? Wala po ba kayong balak itatag ang Marina office in Region 2? Thank you po. So, sir, bago niyo sagutin to si Miss Lynn Bacani po muna ng Marina World. Ma'am Lynn, you are recognized. Then after that will be the question coming.
Yes, good morning.
From Tugigaraw.
Yes, Ma'am Lynn.
Good morning, Admin Empedrad. And STC, hello? Okay na po?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Good morning po, Admin Empedrad and STCW OIC Executive Director, Dinopol. Ang question ko po is on crew change. How's the negotiations on opening other major ports like Batangas, Cebu, and Davao? And we're talking of crew change para po tuloy-tuloy yung employment ng ating mga marino rin. How about assisting them also or helping them to complete their requirements like po yung training? Do we also have blended training in maritime?
Yes, of course, Lina. If yung sa presentation kanina ni Engineer Ned Dinopol, sinabi niya na we came up with advisory to allow our training centers to do blended learning. Kasi hindi na pwede face-to-face. Very strict ang IATF on this. So we can do online, and once the face-to-face is allowed, then we can do blended. Online and blended. Hindi naman pwede yung practical online. Because this is skill, kailangan mag-train sila in simulators and the equipment should be present. So kailangan face-to-face pa rin yung practical exercises. So, yung sa crew change po naman, sa ngayon, ang open for crew change is Port of Manila, Kapinpin in Bataan, and Subic Bay Metropolitan SBMA. I think Admiral Vinson is the one working, and General De Rosario is the one working in opening other ports of our country. Particularly, ang next na mag-open dyan, I'm sure, is Davao, Cebu, Batangas, and other ports where yung available yung deep so that the big ships can be able to enter the ports. So ito yung plano. Ang kailangan kasi gawin kung i-open mo yung ports is dapat may one-stop shop so that it will do the RT-PCR testing of our seafarers. Saan sila i-quarantine? Kailangan nandyan yan eh. So that hindi tayo magkakaproblema with the other LGUs concerned. And we are happy that yung tatlo na open up na. and hoping that we will open up the other ports so that yung mga ships, our principal will be coming here to do crew change. It will be good for our Filipino seafarers, in fact. Kasi instead na mag-aeroplano pa sila, didiretso na sila sa ating mga ports dito sa bansang Pilipinas. So that's this is already approved by the IATF, but we have to prepare the ports to ensure that the COVID will not spread. Number one priority natin yung hindi mag-spread yung COVID. Thank you, Lynn. I hope I answered your question.
Okay.
Admin, can I just clarification lang po regarding po dun sa blended learning or just a follow-up. Are we ready for blended learning? Yung ating capacity or yung mga requirements for blended learning sa training po?
Some of the...
Like kasi we might have an issue on monitoring.
Yes, some of the schools are already ready. Compliant na sila. I'm not sure, probably some of them has already started doing the blended learning. Hindi namin alam yun. But yeah, we can do monitoring through virtual. Kasi, siyempre, COVID, restricted yung mga movements. But we are continuously engaged with the training centers and even our maritime higher education institution para sa proper implementation of the methodology of blended learning online and face-to-face combination. But meron na kaming advisory and I think some of the schools are already ready.
Thank you, Ms. Lynn. Sir, balikan po natin yung tanong po ng reporter from Tuguegarao. It's about the establishment of the regional office in Cagayan Valley, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I mentioned a while ago that we will strengthen the MARINA organization, including strengthening our MROs. And of course, Region 2 will be part of that organizational development. And sabi mo, bakit di mo maramdaman dyan? Of course, kasi sa totoo lang, when I was in the Navy, malaki kasi yung alon dyan sa Cagayan. Especially pag typhoon season, ang hirap yung ating it's very hard for passenger ships to fly that area. But we will organize our MRO there. Meron tayo sa Apari Cagayan, I'm sure. I know we have one in Apari Cagayan, pero hindi pa siya considered as MRO. But we will strengthen that and hopefully maraming domestic shippers that will yung i-cover nila yung route na yan. Hopefully, I hope that our domestic shippers will be encouraged to put up ships that will fly the area of Cagayan and sa East Coast saka sa West Coast.
Sir, last 3 questions. From Business World, si Rodel, you're recognized. And after that will be Ariane Ramirez, then Yashika. I think may isa pa, 4. Last 4 questions po pala. Si Carmela will be the last. So Rodel, please, you're recognized. Rodel? So while waiting...
Hello, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, sir. Naka-commute pala, sir. Congratulations po, sir. Magandang umaga sa lahat po ng mga maritimas. Yes, sir. Sir, tanong po ng business, I'm from Business Mirror po, sir. My name is Rodel. I'm from Business Mirror. We understand that the European Union will render its completed assessment this October or early November, or whether the Philippine reform in seafarer training and education have finally made the grade. What steps are taking to make sure we get a good rating and our seafarers internationally standing remain very good? That's my question, sir.
Yeah, I still believe that our Filipino seafarers are the choice of the other principals. Pero meron kasing procedures itong EMSA and they inspected us every 4 years. They inspected us, and unfortunately, some of the deficiencies that were found out before hindi natin ina-actionan. So ina-actionan na natin ngayon. And as I said, one of the major aspect of the inspection is our MHEIs and the monitoring. So yun ang ini-improve natin. As I said, we created a task group. And then based on what we are doing right now, I believe we are substantially addressing the issues of EMSA. But again, wala pa yung result ng findings sila. When we receive the result of the findings, we have 2 months to work on it. But since in-action na namin, I think we'll be having we will be able to comply with the findings. Ang problema kasi some findings cannot be executed or addressed within 2 months or 3 months. Halimbawa, yung curriculum design, you need more time to implement that. But i-report naman namin sa kanila na ito yung gagawin namin. We will submit a timeline, action plan, and I think what we are doing is Marina will be substantial enough to assure na makuha natin ulit patuloy yung suporta ng ano. In fact, some of our friends from European community, I had a meeting with some of the ambassadors na gusto nilang kunin talaga ang Filipino seafarers, and that's the reason why I increased yung effectivity in coverage ng exemption from October 31 to December 31 and for a period of 1 year, because they are asking me to do this kasi gusto nilang kunin ng ating Filipino seafarers. There is no doubt that our seafarers are excellent seafarers. Magagaling, masisipag. Choice yan eh. But we have to address the issues of EMSA. And we are doing that right now, Rodel. We assure you that we are doing our best to address EMSA.
Thank you, sir. The next will be Yasika. Sir, may pahabol po na isa from Philippine Information Agency po ng Tugigaraw. So, Yasika, Carmela, then Mark. Then we do the closing. Yasika, you're recognized.
Thank you, Sir Louis. My question is addressed to Admiral Empedrad, sir. This is with regards to the announcement of Marina for the Philippines to be the world's major crew change hub. So, sir, ano pong reaction niyo dun sa opinion ship owners, foreign ship owners, and some manning agents that Philippines still cannot handle being the world's major crew change hub because it's more than just port accessibility. Like, tumataas daw po yung cases ng nagpa-positive sa mga seaman natin. And then mobility restriction from provinces, especially nanggagaling ng Visayas and Mindanao. And then matagal po yung processing and release ng certificates from different agencies. And then lastly, yung additional $8,000 that ships spend para lang makapag-crew change dito, sir.
Yes, thank you, Yashika. That's a very tough question. Yes, it will take time for us to be able to be efficient in our crew change. Kasi umpisa yan eh. Kailangan i-establish mo yung one-stop shop. Because it's an interagency cooperation, kailangan mag-harmonize yung efforts ng bawat agencies. And it is very tough to do that one. And you're right, marami na tayong seafarers na nag-positive. In fact, I received information that meron tayong pinadalang seafarers sa China and they were found out to have been positive, pinabalik sa Pilipinas. And then the challenge of the LGUs, siyempre ayaw ng LGUs na dumami yung COVID patient nila, ayaw nilang mahawa yung kanilang mga kababayan. These are the challenges that we are facing. It's very hard. And this, hindi naman mawawala yung COVID eh. Matagal pa to. But the government, through the guidance of our Department of Transportation Secretary Tugade, na i-maximize natin yung pag-open ng mga ports natin, but ensuring that the spread of COVID is another, we should not lose track of our main focus, which is the spread of COVID-19. And syempre, maraming challenges, like for example, paano ibaba yung mga mga i-repatriate, yung bababa, and then yung on-signers, how do you test them? Pag may positive, saan mo ilalagay? Paano kung positive yung aakyat? So these are the challenges. I think we are doing good. In fact, yung ibang bansa, hindi pa nga sila nag-crew change. Sarado pa lahat ng ports sila. But we have already opened 3 ports. And Department of Transportation is working with the other agency to ensure na magiging efficient. It will take some time to be able, first time natin gagawin ito. Kung walang COVID-19, madali lang. But there is the issue of COVID-19. Tumataas yung number natin sa ating bansa and people do not trust sabi nila may sumisira pa nga na nag-i-issue tayo ng fake certificate which is not proven. But we are opening ports and that's the good news. And marami na tayong crew changes na ginawa dito sa ating ports. I know the LMAs knows that. We have done crew changes for our Filipino and even foreign. But we assure you that we are working with PPA, Coast Guard, BOQ, and the other agencies of government to speed up or to facilitate and harmonize our efforts in the crew change. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. There's one coming from the Philippine Information Agency, si Mark. I think Mark is coming from Region 2. Then after that will be Miss Carmela. Sir, marami pa pong nagpapahabol. So, Mark, you're recognized para mas po tayo. At kung sino sasagot po sa tanong nyo. Mark, please. I think si Mark, si TJ. TJ from Tugigaraw also. TJ, you're recognized?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning, Sir Eli. Good morning, Admiral Empedrad. Sir, matagal na po ang Cagayan Valley Region na wala po yung port ng Apari. At ito po sana yung pag-asa ng region, no? Dahil po yung mga produkto ay pupunta po dito, may bibiyahe. Sir, ay paano yung po doon sa 10-year plan po ninyo na may include po yung Port of Arif? Paano makakatulong po ang Marina dahil ang local government unit of Cagayan ay may balak po na buksan po yung Port of Apari, sir?
Dong, can you respond to that kung nakasama dun sa highway yung opening of the route? Tingnan mo nga kung who can answer that from Marina, from Team Marina?
Sir?
Yes.
Nanette, sir? Thank you, Administrator, sir. Yes, sir. Nakasama naman po doon yung Port of Apari in our promotion for opening up of sea routes. In-extend po natin kasi yung nautical highway, sir, yung Eastern, Western, and Central Nautical Highway. So ino-open din po natin doon sa taas na banda hanggang Apari, even up to Batanes area. We already identified these ports and we disseminated this information to all our ship owners and requested them to as much as possible deploy their ships. But as you said, there are conditions, no, sea conditions. Meron naman time na hindi naman harsh yung sea conditions doon. So they can operate actually. So kasama po, sir, kasama po talaga doon lahat yung eastern part at saka western part ng Luzon.
Okay.
Nakasama yan sa ating promotion of nautical highway, sir.
Thank you, Marnet. Thank you, Marnet. I think I missed someone who is really at talaga matagal na po reporter po ng Maritime. May we recognize po si Sir Eloy ng COA. Sir Eloy, you're recognized. At kung kanino mo binabato po yung tanong nyo. Eloy, please. Eloy. Wala po ata si ano, si Sir Eloy.
Yun na charge ko. Double time.
I think ano, balikan na lang po natin si Sir Eloy. I think Carmela. Then Eloy, meron pa ba? Si ano, si Arian. Sorry Arian. Arian will be the last to ask question. Carmela, you're recognized.
Okay po. On EO 197, by the way, sina Ma'am Nanette po or anybody can answer aside from admin. On EO 197 of 2016, tasks Marina to implement the ISPS code. Is Marina now performing this function, and to what extent po? This is important because of the anti-terror law and the recent bombings in Holo. Salamat po.
Now, please.
Sir,
Go ahead daw.
may request po the administrator to ano na lang, sir, for this question po. I'm sorry. This is EO 107 administrator regarding the ISPS po, sir. Thank you, sir.
Or
Thank you
bakit
very
or
much,
baka sir ayaw ibigay sa inyo ng OTS yan pa rin.
Carmela, this is a very good question, ISPS. If you look at ISPS, ano bang role ng Marina? Safety of the ship. Safety of the waters will be done by Coast Guard and of course supported by the Philippine Navy. Safety of the ship, ano bang role ng Marina? Example, why are ships sinking? One probable reason is yung halimbawa, yung cargo ng mga barko, wala silang lashing, wala silang hindi nila na-secure yung cargo sila. That's why they sink when waves are bigger. So that's the role of Marina. And we should ensure that the emergency readiness of the ship is in place. We should ensure that the machineries are operational, the firefighting equipment are operational, so that pag nasunog, masisave pa yung barko, masisave yung passengers. That's the concern of Marina. In as much as we want to take over of the security of the other aspect of the maritime industry, wala naman kaming capabilities. So the Coast Guard should be in charge with the maritime security with the help of the Philippine Navy. But I believe when we talk about security, it should be an interagency. It should be, everyone should be concerned. The domestic shipping, the private, our private stakeholders. When I was the chief of the Navy, meron akong dalawang ginawang reservice na yung dalawang company sa United yung may-ari ng Mega Sardines. They have 100 ships and they have a shipyard there. When they become a reservist of the Philippine Navy, nag-improve yung maritime situation doon. Nabawasan yung piracy, nabawasan yung smuggling because they report directly to the Philippine Navy. And then, in effect, the Philippine Navy was able to perform. Sa totoo lang, nung time ni Admiral Medina as the Commander of Naval Forces Western Mindanao, for 2 years, zero yung piracy incident in the areas of Zamboanga. So kung tayo lahat magtutulong-tulungan, I'm sure we'll be able to secure our maritime waters. If we have good intelligence, not only from us but from the stakeholders, makakatulong yun. So sa amin, ang role namin as far as security or ISPS is concerned is the security of the ship. We'll make sure that when we issue the certificates ng barko and yung safety aspect ng barko is taken into consideration. Do they have enough life equipment pag sakaling nagkaroon ng problema, lahat ba ng pasahero mabigyan ng ng life jacket? So something, this is the major concern of Marina. So if they will give it to us, walang problema, but again, we have to strengthen Marina to be able to function if we will be given another mandate. But yun yung ginagawa namin ngayon, Carmela, and we hope that we'll be very strict in giving licenses if they really comply with the safety requirements of the ships. I hope I was able to answer your question, Carmen.
Thank you, sir. May we recognize si Arian Ramirez? Arian, please.
Yes, Arya.
Arian.
Hi, good afternoon po sa inyong lahat. Admin Empedrad, I heard very good comments about you, and one manning agency president even said that you're heaven sent. So this is very positive for all of us for the maritime industry. Ang question ko po is actually for people here in Marina, and this is for the benefit of the seafarers who are watching us now. Kasi sa tinig ng Marino DGTV, ang pinaka-common na comment or question ng ating mga seafarers is yung extension daw po ng validity of the certificates. Ang gusto nila, sinasabi nila sa Indonesia daw po, 5 years. Ang sa atin daw po ay 2 years. Ang for their benefit, ano po ba yung masasabi nyo kung bakit hindi siya doable or kung doable po siya?
Extension of certificates, we just published an advisory that those who are certificate expiring until 31 December will be extended for 1 year. Ang problema kasi pag in-extend mo ng 5 years, without taking any training, hindi mare-refresh yung ating mga seafarers. You know, maraming mga changes, trends in the shipping. Kailangan mo kasi i-train din continually yung ating mga seafarers so that they will be more competent when they board. Of course, competent sila, but kung may bagong dapat na matutunan nila, kailangan mag-train din sila so that they can But anyway, our certificate is 5 years. So in-extend natin for 1 year because of the pandemic. I would like that our seafarers will be able to renew their certificate. Ang ma-assure lang namin sa inyo, bibilisan namin yung services namin para makuha niyo kaagad yung certificate. I think we are improving on that aspect. But I think you have to renew your certificate for the protection na rin ng inyong mga trabaho. Ang hirap kasi yung nag-expire ka, nandun ka pa sa barko eh. It only happened because of the pandemic. But rest assured, Ariane, that we will look into the welfare of our seafarers. They are our modern heroes, and we will do our best to help them really sa Marina side. Thank you, Ariane.
Thank you.
Okay, Eloy, you're recognized. Are you here? Eloy of Seaway. Sir Eloy? I think hindi po. We now proceed to the last question. Then after that will be the final message from our administrator. We originally intended to have this briefing like 1 hour and 30 minutes, but it's taking like 2 hours. And I think this is really a very good opportunity for the Marina also to interact with our media friends. So Genevieve, for the last question, then after that will be the final message from our administrator. Jen, please. Jen, nakamute ka. Jen, nakamute ka.
Jen, nakamute ka, Jen. Yan.
Yes.
Okay na ba?
Okay na.
Administrator.
Morning.
Sir, yung question ko po about dun sa 12% na cargo space allocated na dapat allocate ng mga domestic shipping, tapos meron silang kailangan na ibigay na discount na 40% cargo rates. Meron po bang consultation prior to that? Tapos meron po ba tayong nakikita na parang food security problem in the couple of months? Ano po bang magiging major thrust ng Marina para doon? Kung meron bang imminent danger?
Yeah, this is an interagency program. How do we maintain yung prices ng commodities and goods na hindi tumaas? One initiative is yung the domestic shipping. Thank you for the domestic our domestic shipping industry. Is to for them to provide a 12% space for goods. And then yung 12%, they should be providing 40% of the goods that will be placed doon sa 12%. So I know it's very tough for our domestic shippers. But thank you for heeding to the call of government for this particular program with the intent really na hindi na matulungan natin yung ating mga mamamayan sa yung impact of pandemic sa mga mahihirap natin. So their help will be what they're doing will go a long way in helping not to increase the prices of goods and commodities. So I think para naman sa ating lahat, affected yung ating domestic shipping, but I assure our domestic shipping that Marina will be helping them also. Hindi naman puro hingi, but we will be helping you in ensuring that your industry will move forward, will continue to progress for our maritime nation. Thank you. Thank you very much sa question.
Sir, thank you very much. So in closing, sir, siguro maganda rin po na magbigay po kayo ng final message because our media friends actually are looking forward to a series of activities like this one para at least na-update po natin sila sa mga developments. And sir, for final message po, sir.
Yeah, we can do this more often, Louis. As I said, transparency is key to for trust and confidence. So again, collaboration is very important. We'll help each other for the progress of our nation. Your questions really is an opportunity for us to work harder. So kung makita namin na yung question nyo ay may significance sa mandate ng Marina, we will use that as an opportunity. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. Sana po magtulong-tulong tayo katulad ng sabi ko. The progress of our economy should be dependent much or largely with the maritime industry, and malaki ang matutulong natin sa ating ekonomiya. So that stay safe and God bless everyone. Thank you very much.
Salamat po, sir, and to our media friends, maraming salamat. So this formally concludes our first media briefing on the developments in the Maritime Industry Authority. Maraming salamat po. Stay safe and good afternoon na po. Ay, hindi, 11:57 pa lang pala. So,
thank you, Louis.
we're just on time for lunch. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you po. Thank you.